Radhe Krishna, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha. Welcome to Thirukkolur Penpillai Rahasyam episode number 64. In our land of Bharat, countless acharyas or spiritual masters have taken birth and they will take birth in the future as well. What is their main intention or the secret behind their birth? That is to uplift people like us stuck in this material world, looking for spiritual realization. So these acharyas guide people like us and increase our devotion towards the Lord. There were various acharyas like Sri Shankara, Swami Ramanuja, Swami Madhvacharya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Swami Vallabhacharya, and the list goes on. There was a start point and it just continued. The starting point was the Lord. From there, various traditions, various paramparas as we call it, culture, traditions, schools of thought, it's countless in our Sanatana Dharma and it just goes on. There is no stop to it. Now in our Thirukkolur Penpillai Rahasyam episodes, we have seen Thirukkolur Penpillai, that is this lady from Thirukkolur, speaking to Swami Ramanuja on various spiritual aspects. 63 Rahasyams we have seen till now, where she is going on comparing herself, benchmarking, highlighting the glories of the saints, the great personalities in our Sanatana Dharma. She is picking up one attribute which was demonstrated by these great saints towards God or towards their own spiritual masters. And she feels that she is lacking in that devotion, in that quality, that attribute. So she is not such a great devotee who should be staying in this divine land of Thirukkolur. A great message for us she is passing on with each Bhakti Rahasyam, where the message for us is also to introspect how we are conducting ourselves in our day-to-day lives. Apart from our professional lives, our dealings in our personal lives, there is some aspect there is something which needs to be looked on from a spiritual perspective also. And Thirukkolur Penpillai, through her divine statements, we can try to embrace those principles to see how we can develop ourselves in the spiritual path. In our today's Rahasyam number 64, Thirukkolur Penpillai is again benchmarking herself with one of the greatest saints who lived in the past, Swami Alavandar. Swami Alavandar was a spiritual master or an acharya from the Sri Vaishnavite tradition, and Swami Ramanuja happens to be his successor in the Sri Vaishnavite Guru Parampara. And Thirukkolur Penpillai is narrating this statement to Swami Ramanuja without knowing that it was the great saint Swami Ramanuja himself to whom she was talking to. Now the 64th Bhakti Rahasyam goes like this. Did I go to Thiruvananthapuram like Swami Alavandar? So Thiruvananthapuram is the modern day Trivandrum, the capital city of the state of Kerala in the southern part of India. Now Thiruvananthapuram, as it was traditionally known, it has a lot of spiritual history to it, for there resides the great Swami Ananta Padmanabha, the form of Vishnu who rests on a serpent bed of Adishesha. Swami Ananta Padmanabha is 18 feet in sleeping position, and there are 3 doors or chambers with which we can have darshan of the Lord. One chamber is for having darshan of his holy feet. The middle chamber is for having darshan of his navel portion, and the first chamber is to have a darshan of his holy face. Now let's see something about Swami Alavandar and his connection with Thiruvananthapuram. So this great saint was actually very proficient in the Shastras and scriptures right from his childhood. In fact, in his life history, in his early days, in his childhood, he goes to the royal kingdom to have a debate with one of the great philosophers there. And with his tricky statements, he wins over the debate. Now, there was a history that this philosopher had not met any defeat earlier, and a small boy, he was known as Yamunacharya, that is Swami Alavandar was known as Yamunacharya in his childhood days. So a small boy, Yamunacharya, defeated him by finding or going deep into the scriptures or the Shastras. So the philosopher had no way but to accept defeat, and the king and the queen, they were mightily impressed with Yamunacharya for his clever speech and how he could trick the philosopher, that the king actually gave him half of his kingdom. So from there, Yamunacharya went on to rule that kingdom for some point in time. Now, just because of the way Yamunacharya cleverly won over the philosopher, the queen gave him this name Alavandar. Alavandar means the one who has come to rule. So he got this name as Alavandar, and he was now the King Alavandar, who was ruling this half part of the kingdom which the king had given him as a gift for winning this debate. Now things went on for a while. He carried on his royal duties, but he also, that is Yamunacharya, also came from a lineage of spiritual acharyas. So the purpose of his life was not to rule over a kingdom, but he had other greater heights to reach and to guide the world subsequently. So with that, the Lord had planned certain events, and through one such interaction, Alavandar actually reaches the temple of Sri Rangam through one of the disciples in this Guru Parampara. And when he sees Lord Ranganatha of Sri Rangam, and this disciple narrates the greatness, he talks in great depths about the various spiritual aspects, Alavandar immediately renounces the kingdom, his kingly duties, his wealth, and he takes sannyasa. Now his mind is fully engaged in devotion, and he is traveling from one place to another, seeking spiritual experiences. One such trip, he comes to Sri Rangam again, where it's a festival time there. So at that point in time, when the festival was being conducted, the chief priest of the temple was singing poems which were sung by Swami Nam Azhwar. So Nam Azhwar was one of the 12 Azhwars, the Bhakti saints devoted to Lord Vishnu. So when he was singing those poems, at one point he sings this particular set of poems which describe the glories of Thiruvananthapuram. So Swami Nam Azhwar, he had sung a lot about the various Divya Desams, or the sacred holy places which are worshipped by Sri Vaishnava devotees. So in one such poem he had sung about the glories of Thiruvananthapuram. So in summary, those verses, they describe the importance of Thiruvananthapuram. They say that if one goes to Thiruvananthapuram, all his or her sins would be vanished. The followers of Lord Rama, they will not be able to reach those people who reach Thiruvananthapuram. All the diseases get vanished if one goes to Thiruvananthapuram. If one sweeps on the floors of Thiruvananthapuram temple, then all their past sins, karmas, they get reduced and one is ready to attain the state of liberation. So such was the beauty of these poems that Alavandar was captivated by those verses, and each of these verses end with the line, it's some kind of a motivational phrase: walk, walk and keep walking to Thiruvananthapuram. So when the chief priest was singing, whenever it was the lines came, walk, walk, walk to Thiruvananthapuram, at one point in time the priest looks into the eyes of Swami Alavandar and says this statement, walk, walk and keep walking to Thiruvananthapuram, twice or thrice. So Swami Alavandar feels that this is a personal call from Lord Padmanabha and he wants him to be there. So even Swami Alavandar has been yearning for the darshan of Lord Ananta Padmanabha. So with this, that is the priest looking into him and asking him to repeatedly walk to Thiruvananthapuram, he feels that his time has now come to leave Srirangam and go to Thiruvananthapuram. So he goes to Swami Ranganatha. He prays to him that he wishes to leave this place for some time to go to Thiruvananthapuram and have a darshan of Lord Padmanabha. Having got the consent from Lord Ranganatha, he starts his journey towards Thiruvananthapuram. Then he keeps walking till he reaches Thiruvananthapuram. He goes from chambers to chambers, seeing the beauty of the Lord, and he keeps on singing those poems by Swami Nam Azhwar, which enhances his spiritual experience. Now there is one more story here, that as I mentioned earlier, there are 3 chambers through which we have darshan of the Lord even today. Swami Alavandar started from the chamber where he could see the holy feet of the Lord. Then he comes to the middle chamber where he sees the navel of the Lord. Then he refuses to go and have the darshan of the Lord's beautiful face. He feels that the Lord's beautiful face can only be seen by people who have that level of prema or the divine love for the Lord. So according to Swami Alavandar, only the gopis of Vrindavan, the gopas of Vrindavan, they have that divine love, that qualification with which they can see the face of the Lord Padmanabha Swami. So with that perspective, he doesn't see the first chamber at all. Every time he has the darshan of the third chamber and the middle chamber, and he is happy. He is situated in spiritual bliss while being in Thiruvananthapuram. So this is the point which Thirukkolur Penpillai captures. She feels that she compares herself to Swami Alavandar, that when he heard the priest urging him to walk to Thiruvananthapuram, he immediately started off without any second thoughts. Such was his depth of devotion. So she also feels that there has been a transition of Swami Alavandar from a childhood scholar to the king, then to a sannyasi, and then at that point in time immediately accepting the call and going. It is just like we also hear about the glories of some place. Maybe it could be a spiritual place, or it could be some place bound with natural beauty, or with any other vacation place. Immediately our minds start racing, oh, we should go to that place. But because of our day-to-day commitments, we are not able to reach that place instantly. But here, Swami Alavandar, the moment he got this spiritual call, he immediately left for Thiruvananthapuram. So Thirukkolur Penpillai is very much enchanted by this fact that he was such a great devotee. The moment he got a call, he immediately left for Thiruvananthapuram to have darshan of Lord Padmanabha. So am I such a great devotee? No. So I don't have any rights to stay in this divine land of Thirukkolur, O Swami. So that is her statement. So this was the content of our Bhakti Rahasyam today, where we learn from Swami Alavandar how to go in deep in devotional matters, and these devotional experiences will help us to lead a wholesome and a peaceful life. Now, coming to specifically this Ananta Padmanabha temple, we know it was in the news some years ago for the wealth and all, and Swami Ananta Padmanabha is a very powerful form of Lord Vishnu. In fact, even today there is a festival which happens called Arat, where the festive deities of Padmanabha, they are taken from the temple to a beach on the Arabian Sea. That beach is called Shankamukham beach. So where the royal king of the erstwhile state of Travancore, like Travancore was one of the princely states in before independence. So the members of the royal family, they exist even today. So the king, dressed in traditional attire, he would take the Lord from the temple to the beach, where the Lord is given a purificatory bath, and from there he is carried back to the temple. Now the beauty is, this trail from the temple to the beach passes through the Trivandrum airport, and even today during the Arat time, which is held twice a year, all the flights are cancelled for that particular time, because this procession passes right in the midst, through the midst of the airport and the runway. So have you ever heard of any airport operations getting stalled due to the Lord? It happens in Trivandrum, Thiruvananthapuram, the land of Swami Ananta Padmanabha Swami. So that was all from our current Bhakti Rahasyam. Stay blessed, stay devoted, and stay tuned for our next Bhakti Rahasyam. राधे कृष्ण. श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. श्रीमते रामानुजाय नमः.